All right, let's get right into it because this is a fascinating one. The U.S. markets are closed for the weekend, and as of the final bell on Friday, November 7th, 2025, Ondas Holdings, ticker ONDS, closed the session at $5.81. That was a monster move, up 10.67% on the day. But that's not even the real story. After the bell, in after-hours trading, the buying frenzy continued, pushing the stock up another 9.96% to $6.39. This is not a drill. A combined move of over 20% is a massive signal in a stock that, frankly, most of the market ignores. The immediate expectation for anyone who saw this on their Robinhood app or as a top mover on SoFi Invest is that this is just a wild, speculative microcap being a microcap. The common belief is that a $5 stock doing this is probably a pump and dump, a short-term gamble with no substance, or maybe a rumored earnings leak. But that is not what is happening here. The reality is that this two-stage rocket, the 10.67% climb and the 9.96% after-hours blast, is the market just now, in real time, trying to price in a rapid-fire series of strategic announcements from the past few days that fundamentally alter the company's entire narrative. This isn't a random spike. This is a delayed and then sudden institutional reevaluation of the entire business. For years, the expectation for Ondas has been that it's a jam tomorrow company, a great story but a complex one. It's been seen as a high-risk R&D project stuck in pilot program purgatory with its two main businesses, the Ondas Riva rail network and the Aerobotics drone-in-a-box system. Investors, especially those using self-investing platforms, have been burned before by companies that promise to change the world but just end up burning cash. They looked at Ondas with its small revenues and persistent losses and put it in the too hard pile, a world away from the relative safety of Apple stock or the clear-cut growth of Nvidia stock. But here is the reality. While the market was sleeping, Ondas management was executing a complete strategic overhaul. The 20% spike is the market's violent reaction to news that has been hitting the wire all week, with the most significant piece landing just this past Tuesday. On November 4th, Ondas announced a definitive agreement to acquire Sentrycs, a top-tier Israeli company specializing in counter-UN aircraft systems, CUAS. This is not a small tuck-in acquisition. Sentrycs is a global leader in the drone killer space, with proven technology that uses cyber-over-RF protocol manipulation to take control of and defeat hostile drones. This system is already deployed in over 25 countries. Let's be perfectly clear about what this means, because this is what a professional analyst at Fidelity or Interactive Brokers platform is breaking down right now. Ondas already had a drone business with Aerobotics, the good drones, and Iron Drone, a catcher drone. By acquiring Sentrycs, Ondas has just cornered the entire autonomous airspace ecosystem. They now own the drone-in-a-box platform for surveillance and industrial work, Aerobotics, and they also own the anti-drone platform to secure that very airspace from threats, Sentrycs. They are no longer just a drone company. They are an airspace security and management company. This move catapults them into the heart of the defense and homeland security market, a sector with massive government budgets and an urgent, non-negotiable need. The run-up on Friday was the first wave of investors who finally did the math on what this acquisition means for the company's total addressable market. But that wasn't all. The market seems to have also just digested another bombshell piece of news that was announced just before that. Ondas's Autonomous Systems division struck a strategic partnership with none other than Palantir, ticker PLTR. Palantir will be leveraging its Foundry platform to become the data and operations backbone for Ondas's drone systems. This is a massive stamp of validation. Palantir is the gold standard for data unification and AI in the Western defense and intelligence apparatus. For Ondas to have its systems integrated with Foundry means its Aerobotics and Iron Drone platforms are now plug-and-play for the most demanding defense, security, and public safety customers in the world, customers who already run on Palantir. This partnership isn't just a press release, it's a high-speed sales channel directly into the Five Eyes defense establishment. So let's recap what's really driving this stock. The expectation is that it's a volatile, speculative stock. The reality is that in the span of a week, this company has 1. Announced a major strategic partnership with Palantir, one of the most important defense tech companies on the planet. 2. Announced a definitive agreement to acquire a best-in-class, globally deployed counter-drone company, positioning itself as a full-spectrum airspace security provider. The 10.67% run-up during the day was the smart money on Fidelity Investments and Interactive Brokers trading desks buying. The 9.96% pop after hours? That's the retail crowd on the Fidelity mobile app and Robinhood stock trading platforms seeing the news hit the mainstream wires and piling in, creating a squeeze. This isn't a mystery. This is a classic, fundamentals-driven re-rating. Now, let's step back and understand what Ondas actually is, because it's two very different, very high-tech businesses under one roof. This is the kind of investment help that matters. First, you have Ondas Networks. This is the original business, and it's a massive long-term bet. They provide private, mission-critical wireless data networks. Their flagship market is the Class 1 railroads in North America. Think Union Pacific, BNSF. These railroads are currently running on ancient 1960s-era VHF radio technology. It's slow, it's not secure, and it can't handle data. Ondas's Riva platform is a new 900 MHz wireless standard, IEEE 802.16, that is purpose-built to become the new data backbone for the entire North American rail industry. We're talking autonomous train operations, remote diagnostics, safety systems, positive train control. This is a multi-decade, multi-billion-dollar opportunity. The catch is it's been incredibly slow. The railroads are a notoriously conservative, slow-moving industry. This is the part of the business that has frustrated investors for years. Second, you have Ondas Autonomous Systems, OAS. This is the high-growth, high-excitement part of the company, and this is what all this newfound attention is focused on. This division is built from the acquisitions of Aerobotics and Iron Drone, and now Sentrycs. Aerobotics makes the Optimus system, which is a literal drone in a box. It's a fully autonomous drone that lives in a robotic base station on site at a port, a mine, a factory, or a city. It can launch, fly pre-programmed security or inspection missions, stream its video data, then land, swap its own battery, and prepare for the next mission, all with 0 human pilots on site. It's a robot-as-a-service model that generates recurring revenue. The Palantir partnership and the Sentrycs acquisition are both centered here, in the OAS division. This is where the explosive growth is coming from. So, the future outlook for this investment has completely changed. The risk has always been the cash burn. This is not a company you put in a set-it-and-forget-it Schwab Intelligent Portfolios account. It's a high-growth, high-risk name for an individual broker's account. The company is not profitable and is burning cash to fund this growth. The Ondas Riva rail side is still a show-me story, and its timeline remains a major risk. If the railroads continue to drag their feet on the network-wide rollout, that side of the business will continue to be a cash drain. But the catalysts on the autonomous system side are now undeniable. Catalyst 1. The Sentrycs acquisition closes. This will immediately add its revenue and, more importantly, its global customer list. Catalyst 2. The Palantir partnership. We will be watching for the first joint contract wins. A contract win from a major NATO military that specifically mentions the Palantir Ondas solution would be a massive signal. Catalyst 3. Cross-selling. Ondas can now go to a major port or oil refinery and say, we will sell you our aerobotics drones for security patrols, and we will sell you our Sentrycs system to protect your facility from other drones. This is a powerful end-to-end solution that no one else can offer. This is why we're seeing this 20% spike. The market is realizing that Ondas is no longer just a railroad tech company. It's a full-fledged, high-tech defense and airspace security company. This is a much easier story for investors to understand, and it's a market that Wall Street knows how to value, and it's a market that commands a much higher multiple. This isn't a stock for Fidelity mutual funds, it's a pure play bet on the future of autonomous systems. Here's a question for everyone watching. Ondas is now a major player in two distinct fields: mission-critical networks for railroads and autonomous drone and security systems. Comment below which of those two business segments, the slow and steady railroads or the high-growth autonomous drones, you believe will be more valuable to Ondas 5 years from now. To wrap this all up, that's $6.39